Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I'm here with my 5th video for courageously crafting scrapbooking through the hard stuff, where I document some of the things that I have had to deal with in the last couple of months. It has been a pretty rocky since the end of April. It's been a pretty rocky time for my family, and we've been dealing with a lot, more so than some, not as much as others. I'm super blessed and grateful for my life, but it is so important for me to document the hard things, because I've had a lot of loss in the last 4 years, and I went a while without documenting those things. And so when all of these things that I've been documenting throughout this 5-week series happened, I really felt compelled to create layouts to not to honor the loss, but to document it and to process it. And I know a lot of people have put off scrapbooking things because it's painful, or because they haven't been able to really look at pictures of certain people if it's a matter of a loss or a fight or anything like that. And so I just decided that I was really put on my heart that I was going to create these layouts and these videos. I thought long and hard about what to title it, and started on July the 1st with the very first one, which started April the 26th. And it was my boss decided to leave our school, and it was hard for me because we worked closely together. We are friends, and it was going to be a new normal for me in my work life. And it was hard. It was unexpected, kind of. And we had had such a rough year in the school system that, that was just icing on the cake. And I really struggled with it. So my very first video, which is posted, I documented that. And so that was the 26th of April. On the 1st of May, so from a Tuesday to a Sunday, my husband came in my office, scrapbook office, and we had a long, serious, hard conversation and decided that we felt like the best move for us was to get divorced. Super amicably. No fighting, no arguing throughout the whole process, thank God. But it's still hard, no matter how amicable it's been and how much we both knew it was the right thing to do. Even though our kids have been absolute rock stars and have really been pretty great about it, it was still hard. It's still, that's not what you go into life planning for, or into a marriage planning for. At least I don't think most people would do that. It's a loss. It's a change in my life, in his life, in our kids' lives. So that was hard. So I documented that in my second video. The third video, unfortunately, we, like I said, decided to get divorced on the 1st. My husband went home to his family's for Mother's Day weekend the next weekend, so that they could, see for themselves, and he was okay. And so he came home on Mother's Day evening, and a couple hours, like less than 5 hours after he got home, his mom called and said his grandmother, who he had just spent the day with, had died. So week 3 was me documenting her funeral. I don't take pictures of caskets and stuff like that, but to each their own. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. No, I took a picture of the pallbearers sitting on the front row, and you could just see the emotion in their body language. And so I documented that. And that was hard, because it's not just because his grandmother was a big loss, but it reminds me of all of that kind of loss that I've had in my life, especially the last 4 years, where we've lost a whole lot of people in my family. So Week 3, that's what I documented. And then from the 8th, which was when she passed, we had her funeral that next weekend on, I think, the 13th. Within the next 2 weeks, we put our house on the market and and sold it. The day we put it on the market, we sold it. So week 4 was me documenting the loss of our home of 12 years. While it was a good move and it was very beneficial, and we were able to get out of a house that we were not happy in anymore, not because we weren't happy, but because the house was just a constant eyesore and issues and one thing after another. Have you ever seen the movie The Money Pit? Yeah. But it was where I had spent 12 years of my family's life, of my marriage, of my parenting life. So a lot of really good things had happened in that house as well. So it was a loss and it was hard. So this week I am documenting another loss of my normal, and it's going to kind of tie back into the beginning of my normal at work. Sometime in between the divorce and selling the house, somewhere in that ballpark, I can't even remember the specific date, I received a phone call from my former principal, and not the one who had just left, the one who worked with him. She had left to go to another school the year before, and she called me and she said, "Kristen, I know you got a lot of change going on in your life," because she and I are friends, so she knew, everything that I was dealing with. She said, "I know you got a lot of change going on in your life, but I just need to ask you a question, and I want you to think about it." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "Our current bookkeeper is retiring, and I really need you. I would love for you to come over, to this, the school she's at." And in most situations, I would never have even considered leaving my current school, because I love my school. I love my staff. I love my students and the families. It's a really great place. They have, just an amazing atmosphere. Now, 2021, 21, 22 was a rough year. The pandemic has been hard on all of us. But this past year's been rough, but I think it's been rough all around. But this school that my former coworker, or my former principal and my friend work at, is the school my children went to. It's a school that I tried really, really hard to get into when I first came into the district. And they just never have openings because people just don't leave. So I really had to think about it, did pros and cons. I literally wrote down pros and cons of staying at my current school, of leaving, of going to this other school. It was a lot. I thought about, probably really sat and debated for almost a month trying to figure out what I was going to do. And because there was no huge rush, they were retiring and it wasn't going to be until later. So I had a little bit of time. I talked to my boss who was getting ready to leave. I got his opinion, his insight. He's so smart. And so finally I made the decision that I was going to take the position at the new school where, like I said, my kids had been, plus it's right around the corner from my child. So that's why I chose this quote that says, "Sometimes you have to let things go so there's room for better things to come into your life." I'm not saying that the school I'm going to is necessarily better as a school. I'm saying it's probably going to be a better for me. I don't think probably, I'm pretty darn sure of it. Just because there was so much unknown with who was going to be the principal of my current school. And my son has a lot of medical issues, and I've left work and had to go pick him up early, take him medicine, take him things often enough last year that being right around the corner is going to be, a game changer, honestly. He can come to school with me in the morning and walk to where his school is. Right now, it takes me 10 to 15 minutes to get there. So, all of those things together, plus knowing that I really work well with the principal, and knowing a lot of the staff there, because a lot of the staff there are the ones that were there when my kids were there. So it was really hard for me to to make the choice. And this is the only school I would have ever left my current school for. But I decided that I was going to take the job. I let my principal at the time, who was getting ready to leave, June 30th was his last day, which was hard, but I let him know that I was going to leave. And then I slowly let other people know it was really, it was a hard thing to do, to talk to my best friend, and I have worked together at that school. And she and I have been best friends for almost 30 years, so it's not like I'm expecting that that's going to change anything. But, when you work that closely with your best friend, that's great. So this is a picture of me. I have such a lovely face on. It's like the mixed emotions face. That is the marquee outside of the school I have been working in for the last 6 years. I've just put a Post-it note over the name. And I just, so it's hard. So I slowly told people, and then I had to break down and tell my office mate, which was hard because I knew she'd be one of the ones that was most affected, because we literally are in the same space together. And then this is a picture of the new school that I'll be going to. And while there was probably no chance you were going to be able to see the school name on that itty little marquee, I'm over in the parking lot. This was after my job interview to, officially be interviewed for the position. But I figured it was just better safe than sorry, right? So that is what I'm documenting today. I felt like this collection by Echo Park New Day was perfect. There are some really great things in here. One that says thrive. There's some things that say, bloom where you're planted. Different things like that, that kind of go along with that quote of letting go of some things so that you can have even better things. And so that's why as soon as I opened this collection last week when I got it, I was like, oh, this is it. This is perfect. This is what I need to use for this transition, because this week is going to be the last of the 5 videos, and I thought this would be perfect for that. However, I am probably going to do another scrapbooking through the hard times next Saturday, because unfortunately in the last 5 days we've had another loss in our family that is pretty hard. And so I'm gonna probably, if I can gather my emotions enough together, I am going to document that hopefully on Saturday, next Saturday. Wow, that will be past my 5 episode or series. It's still important, and it kind of goes along with this whole scrapbooking through the hard stuff. So I felt like it was a good thing to do. So I haven't decided if I'm going to keep, I know I'm going to use the quote and definitely the picture of me at my current school, but I also would like to incorporate this picture of me. Well, I'm not in the picture, but of the school that I'm going to. And the timing for me doing this layout is pretty spot on, because yesterday was my last day at my school and I left in tears. It was hard. I was so heartbroken because no matter how excited I am for going to the new school, I still have lots of friends and people that I love and students that I adore, some that have already cried and been sad that I'm leaving, and most of them don't even know. So I just, just like with the divorce, even though it's been amicable, it's still hard. Even with the getting, selling our home, it was a positive thing for the most part, but still hard. So this really goes along the lines of that. So I had a lot of mixed emotions, and I've been really heartbroken and sad, but still have that excitement to look forward to. So with all that said, I have this paper pack, and I have the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, 2 of them actually, yay. I have the puffies, and I have the little enamel dots and all this ephemera. And then, of course, I have my quote and my 2 pictures that I'm hoping to get on there. So let's see how this goes. So the first thing I did is go through the papers, because I honestly had not done anything in relation to figuring out what I was going to use for this layout. Like, that's what I really enjoy doing, because then it's like you all are watching the whole process. Edited, of course, because, I think it took an hour and 4 minutes to do this entire video. So the first thing I decided was I really, really love this little quote. And I really wanted to use it. So I figured I would go ahead and cut this out and just gut this little 4x4. And originally I thought I would use the paper that it was on, the backside, as my base. And then I would put some really pretty paper on top of it. But it was like banners, like a celebration. And while I am celebrating moving, documenting the hard time to me is more about where I'm leaving. And that doesn't necessarily feel right for me. So this paper right here, which I regretfully did not gut, is the one I decided I would use. So it's a beautiful blue floral. And I put this awesome yellow down on top of it. So now I'm just trying to maneuver. And I would really love it if I could do my current school, the quote, and then my new school, because I felt like it was almost like sometimes you have to let go, and I'm letting go of that school to find something better. And so I thought that would be perfect if it could work that way. But the way the pictures are, it wasn't going to work. Both of the ones of the school are predominantly on the left side, so I couldn't get that to work. So then I decided I'd just do old school, new school quote. And so, and then that quote that says, "What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" And I felt like that was super fitting because, I don't know, I've made so many debates and so many things about, I've talked myself one way and the other about this since I've officially made the decision to go to this new school. I've not questioned it. I've not doubted it. I've been 100% certain. My husband honestly says, "I don't know why you're taking so long to make it official, because you knew the day she asked you, you were going to go." And maybe that's true. But, it was a lot. I am giving up things that are really important to me and things like that. So it is hard. So I have this one that says "Bloom where you're planted." And I thought, that's super fitting of both places. My first job in the district was a long-term substitute job. And because it's just, school systems, I don't know about everywhere, but school system here it's who you know a lot of times, because I felt like my resume was pretty fluffy with all the experience I'd had in my life, but I just couldn't even get an interview. So I ended up working as a long-term sub in the human resource office, and that is where I met some of the people who ended up being like really good references for me, including the director of human resources, who put my name in the pot for different places. And so when I was asked to work at the school I'm at now, I was super excited. I thought, oh, yeah, I don't know anything about this school. I've never been there. I don't know anything about it. But, it's in the school system. It's with the kids. It's with the teachers. That's my goal. That's what I wanted. So I feel like the "Bloom where you're planted" is perfect for that. And then I just feel like this is a God thing that I'm moving to this school, because it's always been so important and so special to me, because my cousin used to work there. The staff there is just impeccable. And so, anywho, so I fiddle around a lot trying to fix the pictures and figure out what I want. And this right here is pretty much where it's going to end up. I matted both pictures of the schools on like this orangey colored matte stack paper. And it is pretty spot on to the orangey color that's in the florals. So I was happy with that, because I didn't want to cut into any more of my paper. This is when I was regretting not gutting that blue floral, because I could have used that as my as one of my picture frames or my mats as well, but it didn't do it. So I started pulling out the different things I wanted to use from the ephemera. One says keep flourishing. It's in cursive. I can read cursive, I promise. And I end up moving that one that says bloom where you're planted. And then there's that little one up there in the top left that said picture of the day. I definitely felt like that was definitely fitting. I pulled that little banner, the fish-tailed banner that was in the ephemera, because it's that same flower that's in the background. So I wanted to bring that forward. And I want to make sure that I encompass as many of those colors that are on that neat quote as I could. So I'm kind of just laying things out and then looking at the puffies to try and figure out what I want to use and where I want to put things. I have a little circle that I've put down there by the quote that's got the flowers that are from the background, and it's that blue background paper. Almost looks like I took a circle punch and punched it there. So I am dead set on where I'm putting my pictures. So I go ahead and tack them down enough to where they're gonna stay for the most part where I've put them. And so I just get those tacked down. I don't know why I didn't cut that out. I had put the tape a little too high. I had to move that down. So I put that keep flourishing right there above that picture of my new school. And then I moved the banner over because it looked kind of weird, because I had cockeyed the picture. If I put the banner going straight down, it would have looked weird. If I had cockeyed it the same, then it would have come up onto the blue paper. And so I decided to move it over. And I do like the way that looks. And then I put the little circular thing that has that floral pattern on there. Kind of like I'm just going to build a cluster there. And I'll put some of the puffies there and everything as well. So I pull some of the florals from the puffy, and I think that's about all I pull off the puffy stickers. A couple hearts and then some flowers. And I'm going to put those in different places. And I will say, I have 2 sheets of the 12 by 12 stickers that came with this collection. And in this video, you will see me put none of them on there. However, I think the pictures that I take in the end, they are on there, because I was putting my collection away when I was done, and I went, oh, are you kidding me? I was like, I couldn't, I do that kind of stuff all the time. I set it over and I I need to start putting it in a specific place, which I think is what I've decided to do. I have something that I'm considering, and I'm trying it out right now. So if it helps me, then I will probably do that. So my room tour is hopefully going to be videoed sometime in the next week, so that I can get it up online, because I've been so excited to share. But it's like, I want to scrap, I want to organize, I want to scrap, I want to organize. I don't know what to do. Plus, working, finishing out a school year in one place and starting a school year in another. It's fine. I'm fine, you all. So I use these absolutely adorable enamel dots. And I try and change them up, because I don't want them to all be the same. I want to have a little bit of variety. So that is it. Like I said, the final pictures are going to have, I think, the ones that I post on Instagram and Facebook will have the pictures from the sticker sheets. I just added some florals in a couple of different places. There weren't any like word stickers or anything. So there is that cute little cluster. See, I love how that all turned out right there. I didn't even use any mixed media on this layout. Now that is something. I want to thank you all for being a part of this series with me. It has been very good for my heart, and has really helped me to process and get through a lot of the hard things, and being able to document it and share that stuff with you all is a blessing. So I hope you all will come back for my next one next week, and I hope you all will get out there and feel the things and document the hard stuff. And thank you again. Have a great day, and happy scrapping.